So I spent most of yesterday trying out the new RotoBrush 2 inside of Adobe After Effects, and I was actually able to composite all of these shots together in a matter of hours. Today I'm going to quickly break down one of these shots so you can see how the new Adobe Sensei AI tech holds up when rotoscoping with the RotoBrush 2. So if you like watching guys in their late 30s play with toys, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. If you'd like to download a copy of this clip with an alpha channel included so you can use it in your own projects, follow the link in the video description. And as always, donations are appreciated. So for this first shot, I've got the dancing bear in the bedroom here, so I want to remove myself so we can just see the bear dancing. Is it going to be creepy? Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. So to make this work, I've shot it on a tripod and I've captured what's called a clean plate. So if you look at this layer down here, it's essentially the exact same shot without the subjects in the frame, and this makes compositing easier. So when I use the RotoBrush to isolate the bear, I'll crop everything else out, and then I'll just place this over the clean plate, and the composite should look good. The clean plate allows you to avoid painting in background items. Now to roto out the bear, I'm going to double click on this layer and I need to isolate it or open it up in the layer panel. Now you can see this is opened up right here in the layer panel. You can find the RotoBrush tool right over here. I'm going to click on this. So I'm using the RotoBrush tool to essentially tell After Effects what's foreground and what's background. Now when you're using the RotoBrush, the first selection you make is extremely important, and the frame you make it on is extremely important because all of the other frames are going to be propagated from this first frame. So it's very important. I'm just going to start from the very beginning here because I want to see how well this works. There's a little bit of motion blur, it's kind of blurry, but this is going to be a test. Now this brush is kind of like, think of it as like the magic wand. It's going to try to find these edges, but I'm just going to click and drag and see what it does. And you can see it's selected some of the legs, but not a great selection. It's done a couple of other things here. It's added the RotoBrush and Refine Edge effect, and now we can see some stuff going on down here. It's showing us this base layer as well as the span. So once I start propagating these and using the Adobe Sensei tech to, automatically rotoscope this, it's going to go in this direction. And so now I need to focus on the selection before I can propagate. I'm going to set the quality to best. And I have some propagation settings, but I just want to see how the default works. So I don't need to bother with any of this right now. So I can add to the selection just by clicking and dragging. And then I can subtract by holding Alt and clicking and dragging. You can control the size of your RotoBrush tip by holding Control or Command on a Mac and then just click and drag up or down as you're holding that hotkey. And again, this first selection is very important, so you need to spend some time on trying to get it as good as possible. So I'm going to go through here. I'll speed it up so you don't have to sit through it. I think the most difficult areas for this is going to be like the movement under the armpits and next to the arm, but you can also see that some of the background colors are very similar, so the brown of this bear are similar, so I'm wondering how that's going to hold up. One of the things that makes this bear clip such a good test is this fur, the detail of the fur. And this is a pretty busy background, so you got not only those similar colors, but you've got all kinds of stuff here. Okay, so that's looking pretty good for my base frame. Again, I can jump between the different views here and try to get a good look at it. Okay, so now I'm ready to propagate. Now, there's two ways I can do this. I can hit the space bar and that's gonna automatically run through the entire clip, or I can go frame by holding Control and hitting the arrow keys right and left. Since this is a test of this new tool, I say we just hit the spacebar key. So let's see what happens. You can see down here as these are propagated, they're turning green. It's pretty incredible with the flapping ears moving, and there's quite a bit of motion blur. And it's hanging with it. It's pretty crazy. I think it's safe to say this is definitely, oh, there's some stuff in the ear there. This is definitely a huge improvement from RotoBrush version 1. So you can see some stuff next to his arm here and then the little blip on his ear, but that's pretty incredible. Now if I'm happy with this, I can freeze this. So basically it won't repropagate anything, because if I make any changes, and especially if I make changes near that base frame, it's going to repropagate, so I need to be careful about that. So I can freeze this, but then after the fact I can still go and make adjustments to my matte without it messing up the whole clip. Okay, so now it's frozen, and you can see over here it says RotoBrush and Refine Edge propagation is frozen, unfreeze to update. So I can just unfreeze that and make any changes to that if I'd like to at a later time. But now let's change our matte, and I want to go and look at some of the details, see how good this actually went. And it's looking pretty good, especially for a first pass. But I'm going to make just a couple of tweaks. First, I'm going to turn the feather down, and watch what happens when I turn the feather down. So I'm gonna bring this down to 0, and that'll bring out some of the hair a little bit more. And actually, I'm gonna enable that motion blur. That's gonna help a lot. So I'm gonna go back to the comp panel, and that should update and zap me right out of there. I've got the clean plate already active, so this composite really should be ready to go. Let's have a look. Okay, it's so cool. You can see a little mistake down by where my arm was, so maybe next time I could find, I could get more contrasting colors, something a little bit darker when I'm holding on to him. But that is amazing for just not tweaking any of the settings except the feather and using the motion blur and just letting it automatically do it. If I went frame by frame, I could get rid of this. So let's jump in a little bit closer. I'm gonna jump in and take a look at the details here, and look at that. That looks really good, actually. And I'm just gonna turn off, what I'm gonna do is just toggle this on and off so we can see the difference here. Not too bad. Okay, here's some more fur. I'll turn it back on. Yeah, definitely got cut back some. Looks like there's a little change in lighting. And we got some little fringe here. That's looking a little whack. And of course, the clean plate really sells it. You can see it's kind of falling apart here. But again, pretty incredible for a first pass. One other thing I want to do to bring this composite together is to bring back the reflection that was in this window right here. So since I rotoed him out, I don't get that reflection of his head bobbing in the window here. So to get that back, I'm going to duplicate this layer and delete the effect on the duplicate. And then I'm just going to add a simple mask here. And it doesn't matter if it overlaps with the bear here because there's nothing else. That clean plate is going to work out just fine. So what I'm going to do is come in like this. And I'm not in the reflection either, so this will work out perfect. And now we should see there's the reflection of the head there. And I'm gonna hit the F keyboard shortcut key and then just add like a 100 pixel feather to this. And now we are good to go. Now there is a refine edge tool. If you click and hold on the RotoBrush tool button, you can select it here. Now I tried this several times and was really excited about it, but unfortunately it just wasn't working. My mats would just fall apart and it wouldn't propagate very well, and it was hard to fix it. If I would propagate halfway through and try to correct it, it just wouldn't take the corrections. So if you happen to use the refine edge tool and had success with it, please drop me a comment down in the comment section, and I'd love to hear more. Maybe this is just operator error on my part. But at the same time, it's pretty exciting to know that the new tech, this Adobe Sensei, is already working well enough where I don't even really have to worry about that refine edge. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you want to download this clip with an alpha channel to use on your own projects, just follow that link in the video description. If you'd like to see a full project breakdown, let me know down in the comment section and I'll put something together. I'll see you in the next one.